welcome back to the Sparks of Ingenuity podcast. For those of you who are new here, we just kind of talk about anything and everything that gives inspiration, or maybe just complaints. So, as many of you know, I'm married, and I love my husband, but sometimes he drives me absolutely crazy. And I know he means well, but sometimes he just drives me nuts. But anyway, I have been noticing, and I don't know why this just hit me. I've been with my husband. Granted, we had a little bit of a break, but I've been with him for like 4 years now, which I know is not like long in the grand scheme of things, but it's still a decent amount of time to be with somebody, and I'm just kind of realizing this now, but like being with another person, especially a person that you love and care about, makes you less productive. And I don't know why or how that is, but like honestly, if you think about it, like you get into a relationship, and most of the time in a relationship you'll put on weight, do less productive things, and things kind of seem to fall apart before they get better, even though we associate having a relationship with doing well and doing better and feeling good. And I think that's just like a really weird concept. Like, we do less because we just want to be with that person. We do less things, and yet we spend more money and gain more weight, and I just don't know how that's possible. But anyway, so as I mentioned, I love my husband, but he drives me crazy, and sometimes it's like I can't even like identify how he's making me feel, but it's just driving me crazy. And I get to this point where like I know I need something, but I can't tell you what I need. And I'm not blaming you for the fact that I don't know what I want, but I'm still annoyed that you're not trying or willing to help me figure it out without me having to prompt you. Which sounds really weird and it sounds like a lot, but here's like hear me out first here. Like, in a relationship, you are not required to know what your partner wants before they know what they want, right? Like, that's not your job. It's not. But it is your job to give to your partner in a way that, satisfies them, right? Like, if they aren't satisfied with what you're doing, it's one of two things. Either they have a problem or you're not doing the correct thing. And that's not to say that you should be searching for that like one correct thing that your partner needs from you and you're not doing good enough. No. But like if their love language is gifts and you're doing things for them as if their love language were acts of service, but it's, gifts, they're not going to feel satisfied because you haven't like given them something which is how they feel fulfilled. And it's really important for us in relationships to take note of what says love to our partner, like how they feel love. And it is mostly the partner's responsibility to identify that in themselves and come to their partner and say, hey, this is what I need from you, if they're noticing that they aren't feeling fulfilled, right? It's all about communication and communicating. But like, once you've communicated, hey, this is what I need, and this is what I'm feeling, and this is the kind of thing that I like, and this is what I need from you, your partner needs to take that into consideration and do it. And when they don't, just because for whatever reason it doesn't click in their brain that they don't need to do that, even though you've told them they need to, it's frustrating. And, it's not necessarily your partner's fault that that hasn't clicked for them yet. But, I'm getting to the point where if it doesn't click pretty soon, I'm just going to smack them with the truth. Metaphorically, of course. But like, I'm feeling it. And it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. But anyway, so, in relationships, as I mentioned, communication's, a huge thing. And I studied communication when I went to college because I was a teacher, and I taught English. And secondary English, you have to teach communication principles. My degree is in communications, as well as education and English and literature. I have basically 4 different degrees. 4 is a little bit of a stretch, but 3 majors is what I did And it's pain. But that's not the point. The point is, I studied communication for a long time, and I took a lot of communications classes, and I taught a number of communications classes. And I did not say that was a large number, but I did teach a number of them. Anyway, the thing that I always notice is that, most people, when they encounter like, oh, this is what you need to do to make your relationship healthy. You need to have good communication. You need to talk about love languages. You need to fulfill your partner's love language. You need to do things for them or say things to them or whatever their love language is. You need to fulfill that. That is your job as a partner, is to fulfill that need for them. People are like, oh, that's interesting. And then they kind of like go on with their lives. It takes a lot to get a person to go, oh, they need that. I need to do that. How can I start implementing this into how I show them love? Because it's not a natural process for us. I firmly believe it's not a natural thing to do because as humans, we're naturally very selfish creatures. We want to survive. We want to live. We want to be happy. We want these things for us. Doing things that don't make us feel inherently good right off the bat is not a natural thing because that's not how we were meant to survive. We're not good people naturally. I don't personally believe that everyone's just good at heart. I believe that we start out good as like children, but human nature, I don't think, is inherently good, if that makes any sense at all. Anyway, it's a tough battle. It's a line to straddle between, your wants and their wants, and actually thinking you're doing what it is this person needs from you or wants from you or is asking of you, and actually doing it. It's crazy because it's such a small difference, but it is a distinct and very important difference. So, if you're feeling like your relationship is struggling and you feel like you communicate and you're showing them love the way they need to be shown love, and you're still feeling like they're not responding to you, they're not reciprocating, therapy doesn't hurt anyone. It may seem painful. I didn't say that it wouldn't be painful, but in the end, it doesn't ultimately hurt you if you do it correctly. So, just going to say therapy's not a bad idea. But if that's not an option, or you're like, oh, it doesn't need to go that far, well, healthy people still do therapy. Regardless, just think about that. And, of course that person, your partner has to make their own decision. But start by making those decisions yourself. And just don't say anything about them. Just switch. Just do it. Journal about it if you need to so that you have some sort of outlet, but just do it for a little while and see if your partner notices. Because if they don't, then that is part of their problem, is mostly that their self-obsession and their self-absorption, or that they just aren't a very generally sharing person, but they have noticed, right? And if you're in that case then, and you need them to share, then that's a conversation you need to have, right? But if you're seeing struggles and if you're noticing struggles, first of all, figure out your love language. Figure out what that is. How do you show love? Like, generally, like, what's your go-to? And then how do you know what love is and feel loved? Like, what do people do that makes you feel loved, right? Figure out your love languages. And then go to your partner, sit them down at a good time, right? Make it the best time you can. If they're typically generally like tired after work and they have trouble concentrating, yes, they need to pull it together for a minute because they need to grow up too. But if that's generally a bad time, or if they're having a bad day, give them a break because you want them to hear what you have to say. And if you're starting this on your own, especially if you're in a poor relationship and this is one-sided and you don't, you're on a journey to realizing that, it's going to be difficult if you don't time this well. But, sit down with them at the best time that you can, put together. And there will be no good time, but do your best. And then just say, hey, this is my love language. This is how I feel loved. And when you do things like this, I feel loved. And I am not feeling very loved right now. And I am needing for you to do that more frequently. I'm not asking you to, go all out all the time, but I need a little bit more. And this is how I need it. And if you just replace what you've been doing, some of those things you've been doing, with these things that would show me that love so much more. It's swapping it out for you. I'm not asking you to do more as in to wear yourself out. I'm just asking you to do what I need instead of what you think I need. And just explain it to them. Sit down and tell them. Then, if they can come to you and say the same thing, great. And if they don't have that self-awareness yet, do your best to figure out what is their love language. What do they seem to respond to the best? And just do those things for them. Quietly and silently, in your own way, be the best you can be in the relationship. Fix yourself first. Even if you don't think there's anything broken, find something to fix. Find something that you think you could work on and work on it. And just don't say anything to your partner. Write about it if you need an outlet. And then, after you've given it a little time, come back and kind of assess. Do I feel like the relationship is better? Have I been happier? Has it been me that's needed to change? Or am I feeling like I'm putting in all this effort and not getting a response? If I feel like a little bit better, like, yeah, it did work some, then yes, you were part of the problem and you've helped to start solving that problem. But then, your partner now needs to pull their weight. Then go back into a conversation with them, and say, hey, this is what I need. This is what I've been doing, and point it out. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. I've been doing all these things to try and better our relationship because I feel like we're lacking. And, we had that conversation where I sat down and told you what was lacking and how I felt we could fix it. And I haven't gotten it from you. Or I got it at first and it faded away, or whatever the experience was for you. And go from there, repairing it together. Create a system, a way that you can keep each other accountable for making your relationship better. And I guarantee you that if that person does not want to be putting in that effort, they don't want to be in the relationship. They don't care enough. Because a person that really cares about you will say, you feel like there's something wrong. And I may not agree, but I'm willing to hear your fears, hear you out, and try this. And if I feel like it's not going anywhere, then I'll come to you and say, yes, I didn't think it would go anywhere. I really don't see the change. Have you felt better? And work with you. But if they're not willing to do that, then, there's a problem. And the beautiful thing that I see in my husband every day is that although he drives me crazy and doesn't always live up to the level of showing me love the way I feel it should be shown at the level where I feel it should be shown. If I look back on where our relationship started, he has put in so much effort for me and himself and really done so many things differently. And he is an improved person and I'm an improved person because we have worked on this. And is it where I want to be and am I always happy? No. But the beauty of relationships is that you always are growing and changing and dynamically getting to that point. Now, I am not, and I just want to put this out there, I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm not a therapist in any way, shape, or form. And I am not an expert on relationships. I've just studied some. When I get things confused from time to time, I make mistakes. And this is, stemming from my experience. But sometimes the best advice we can get are other people's experiences. So if you're needing a friend to talk to, if you're having a struggle or if something's going on, give this method a try, give it time, try it out. But if you're obviously in a dangerous situation, get out. I support you. If you need me, reach out. Otherwise, give this a shot, give it a try, put some effort in, and you'll be very surprised with what the outcome will be. It'll be clarity maybe, but it may be good, it may be bad, but it'll be something, right? And you'll have given that effort. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening today. I really hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed talking to you guys, and I look forward to talking to you next week. As a reminder, episodes come out on Wednesdays and Saturdays, so we will see you next time.